Ohio. The city. Since 1871. In Russia on riverbanks take away Ivanovo. In 1871-1932 Ivanovo-Voznesensk. The administrative center of the Ivanovo region forms the city district of Ivanovo. The population minus people 2021. The mayor Sharipov 5 and since November 15, 2016. Seven higher education institutions work in the city. Polytechnical, Chemical and Technology, Power and Ivanovo State University, Medical, Agricultural and Rescue and Firefighting Academy. Ivanovo is included into the list of the cities of the Golden Ring of Russia were originally by the creator of this tourist route by Gabay. It was not included, but later it appeared for ideological reasons there as having revolutionary traditions. A decree of the President of the Russian Federation of July 2, 2020 to the city gave the rank City of Labor Valor. The first known written mention belongs to 1608. Appears in books of Trinity Sergius Lavra of Ivanovo as the village of Ivanovo. At the beginning of the 17th century and before Ivanovo did not possess the settled name yet, also names Ivanovo-Kakomsky, Ivanovsko-Kakomsky and Ivanovo met. To the middle of the 19th century on the place of the modern city several textile settlements which in 1853 were integrated in Voznesensky deposit were created. The name Voznesensky was appropriated on Church of the Ascension. Near the Posad there was a village of Ivanovo where the textile industry also developed. In 1871 by merge of the Posad and the village the city of Ivanovo-Voznesensk which in 1932 was renamed into Ivanovo was formed. Ivanovo arose at a stream of Kokwai, the right inflow takeaway. A historical kernel of Ivanov, modern Revolution Square. On the basis of results of archaeological excavations and historical evidences about development of age it is possible to conclude that with a high share of probability of Ivanovo in the 15th century there were already. To 1579 Kerry foundation of the Pokrovsk monastery where now there is a palace of arts. In the period of the time of troubles of Ivanovo was attacked by the Polish interventionists. In 1608-1609 in the village there was a basic Polish Cossack camp. In 1638 the village took over from Princes Shuski to Princes Cherkassk. In Ivanov in the 17th century of special development reached textile craft. Weaving of linen canvases and their finishing. Since 1743 the village columns Shermatov owned. In the middle of the 18th century rich peasants based the first manufactories, production of calico appeared later. In 1871 by means of merge of the village of Ivanov and Voznesensky who appeared in 1853 of the Posad the city of Ivanovo-Voznesensk which became soon the leading textile center of the Russian Empire was formed. In Ivanovo-Voznesensk there was a powerful revolutionary movement which played an important role in the First Russian Revolution during which the Russia's first city council appeared here. The contribution of Ivanovo-Voznesensky workers to revolution was highly appreciated by 5.1. Lenin. The proletariat is Moscow, Street. Petersburg and Ivanovo-Voznesensky. proved in practice that he any price will not concede gaining revolution. -5.1 Ulyanov, Lenin. In 1918 the city became the Ivanovo-Voznesenskaya center of the province. In 1932 it is renamed into Ivanovo. It's special part of a peculiar polygon for carrying out the Soviet social experiment on the embodiment in life of the ideas of new society was assigned to it. The city became one of the centers of distribution of architecture of constructivism. In the middle of the 20th century in Ivanovo a number of engineering enterprises was created. Administratively the city consists of 4 areas. The population in the person. France 111,940. October till 1961 Stalin 84784. Soviet 57549. Lenin 147,232. Geographical location. Distance from Ivanovo to the large cities. On a straight line to / on highways. The city of Ivanovo is located in the center of the Ivanovo region on the river bank Uvod. In 290 came to the northeast from Moscow and approximately in 100 came from Yaroslavl, Vladimir and Kostroma. The territory of the city makes hectares, from them, hectares are built up. One of 2 cities of Russia, along with Khanty-Mansiysk. Located in a confluential point, the place where integer parallels and meridians are crossed, without minutes and seconds. Coordinates -57 C. Highway 41L. Ivanovo is in our zone Moscow time. Moscow time. Shift of the applied time concerning UTS is +300. According to the applied time and geographical longitude, average solar midday in Ivanovo comes at 12:16. The soil around Ivanovo and his vicinity is loamy, red clay, with quite plentiful content of sand. In places grey clay meets. Occasionally iron meets, and at the bottom take away sulfurous sulfide. The subsoil layer of sand is based upon clay layer, therefore water here is always delayed and it can be found at a depth of 10-13 meters. The soil, though nutritious for plants, also demands good fertilizer. Dividing the city into 2 parts, from the north on the south the river Uvod. Inflow of the Klyazma River. Flows. In city boundaries the small rivers flow into Uvod, Talka, Harinka and several streams. On coast of the rivers within the city large parks of rest are located. Of Stepanov, Revolution of 1905 and Harinka. In the 60th years of the 20th century on the western outskirts of the city one more park, a name of N.S. Khrushchev was broken. Over time it came to desolation. However, the picturesque birchwood which remained in its territory remains one of favorite vacation spots of citizens. In the people this area received the name Goat Swamp. The forests surrounding the city are concentrated at the southern, eastern and northern frontiers of the city, are vacation spots of the population. The city consists of 4 administrative regions. Lenin, France, October, Soviet. Ivanovo is located on the area of 10484 hectares, from them is built up -2353 hectares. The total area of housing stock -8643. 8,000 number of apartments -179,000, on average is the share of one resident of Ivanovo to 19.1 m. The total area of all streets, drives, embankments and squares is about 19.7 million square meters, their extent -700 km. It is going to develop the radial and ring system of streets. According to official figures, the ecological situation in the Ivanovo region in general is estimated as satisfactory, however the condition of reservoirs in the territory of the city that is not. The rivers flowing through the city are generally polluted by household garbage. In the city there is a problem of supply of citizens with clear drinking water which generally undertakes from the Avotsky reservoir. The main sources of air pollution in Ivanovo are motor transport. Ivanov's climate moderate and continental, the DDEF type 1 classification of climate of Kyapan. The warm but not hot summer and moderately frosty winter with steady snow cover are characteristic. Within a year a significant amount of rainfall drops out. About 620. The coldest month of winter, January, with an average monthly temperature 12 degrees. The warmest month of summer, July, which average monthly temperature is +18.8 degrees. Average annual temperature is +4.3 C. The absolute minimum of temperature is recorded in January 1940 and made -46 degrees. For January 1, 2021 on population, the city was in the 49th place from 1116 cities of the Russian Federation. In Ivanov the set of monuments of architecture is located. 14 of them have federal category of protection. In 1920, the 1930 years of Ivanovo Voznesensk endured the period of the blossoming caused by reputation of the city as revolutionary and proletarian, and by quantity of architectural monuments of these years concedes in Central Federal District now only to Moscow. Here the architecture of vanguard, including constructivism, is widely provided, to which about 50 buildings belong. House Ship, House Horseshoe, House of Collective, Ivselbank Building, Railway Station, etc. Among the architects avant-gardists building here were both the leading architects of the country and Ivanovo Voznesensky architects. In Ivanovo Voznesensk the new type of buildings, catering establishment. Catering establishment no. 1 on Krutitskaya Street. For the first time appeared. Is she part of monuments of vanguard, is in the depressing state and demands repair. Under the threat of demolition there is an office building of Ogpu. A large monument of town planning art is the first industrial settlement which implemented the concept of the garden city. One more monument of this period, the complex of buildings of Ivanovo Voznesensky of Polytechnical Institute, built in style of Eredorika. The most ancient constructions of Ivanov. Chudrovsky tent of the end of the 17th century and wooden church of the Assumption of the end of the beginning of the 18th centuries, almost completely lost as a result of the fire of 2015. The historic center of the city is interesting by the former houses and estates of the Ivanovo manufacturers and merchants of the second half of the beginnings of the 20th centuries. Estates 1 and and S.N. Pelashenik E. 1. Brachios Estates, Zubkov, Fokany, Barilini, Marrakeshev A. Uriner A. 1. Arilin N. M. Gandarin 50 M. Gandarin N. T. Shapov's Mansions, etc. Also, the industrial architecture is of interest. In the city, practically in an untouched type, several pre-revolutionary cotton mills remained. The factories of Jasinski, which are also constructed in the 1920th years, and Red Talca are of interest. In them, a number of innovations of industrial architecture was realized. Almost all ancient churches of Ivanovo were destroyed at the Soviet power. Up to now remain Kazan. 1787, it is reconstructed in 1810. Helenskaya, 1841. And Vladimir, 1904. Of Church, Transfiguration Cathedral, 1893. And Vdensky Temple, 1907. In the city there is a large number of historico-revolutionary monuments. A monument to fighters of revolution of 1905 at Revolution Square, the Memorial Complex, Red Talca, on the Tok River, monuments to communist revolutionaries. In 2012, at the initiative of ROC at 40 Latia Pobedy Square, despite protests of inhabitants, the monument in honor of a victory of the Soviet Union in the Great Patriotic War was demolished. On the place of a memorial the same year opened St. George's sculpture. One of sights of the city is the Crystal Shoe of the Bride. It is frame flower composition which is located between three institutes: the Chemical and Technology University, Medical Academy, the Polytechnical University, the former Textile Academy. Here nearby the musical school and Kolprosolichis is located. Stop of students' transport. Site is the bronze rate and sculptural composition of a monument to Arkady Severny. Children like to sit on her back, and many adults want to be photographed with it. Till 2010, the status of the historical settlement had Ivanovo. However, the city of this status was deprived by the order of the Ministry of Culture of the Russian Federation of July 29, 2010. 418/339. Ivanovo, unlike the neighbors Vladimir, Yaroslavl, Kostroma, developed first of all as the industrial center, therefore there was a considerable number of industrial enterprises. The city traditionally is considered the center of the textile industry. At the moment the number of the textile enterprises was a little reduced, but there is a large number of the sewing enterprises. Since 30th years of the 20th century in the city, engineering enterprises, Pranex, the truck crane, Ivanergamash, began to be created actively. Now the enterprises of the food industry develop. In Ivanovo there is also a small amount of the chemical companies. Prior to the beginning of the 90th years there was a research institute of allied scale, REDMI. Research Experimental and Design Machine Building Institute. Now the accelerated rates trade and the service industry develops. In the city there is a large number of shopping centers, an extensive network of fast food restaurants and nightclubs. There are prerequisites for tourism development. Through Ivanovo there pass the Russian highways of federal importance P, routes 24K-090, 24R-093 and 24K-260. Public transport in the city is provided by mainly share taxis on which cars of small and average capacity are used. There are no state and municipal city bus routes as such in the city. Besides, in the city there is a network of trolleybus routes. Trolleybus traffic is opened on November 5, 1962. First line passed from Bagayev Square, nowadays Victory Square, to the Xip plant. At the moment 11 trolleybus lines work in the city. The tram message was started up on November 6, 1934 and existed till June 1, 2008. For all life in the city there were 6 tram lines. According to the former mayor Ivanovo Alexander Fomin. For the last 20 years the number of motor transport in the city increased more than by 10 times, and the intensity of the movement is 5-7 times higher than that on which they were calculated. In a northern part of the city there is a station of Ivanovo of the Northern Railroad, which is the large railway junction. The first railway station in the city was built in 1894. It was located on the Moscow-Kineshma line. In 1934 near it the new, more capacious station, which to this day is the largest monument of architecture of modernism in Russia, was built. The message with Moscow is provided by 2 daily night trains in the period of a high passenger traffic and 1 Vyugrupny-Kineshma, Ivanovo, Moscow, to the periods of a low passenger traffic. Yet through traffic to Moscow was not since the beginning of 2011 on March 2018. Since March 13, 2018 the high-speed comfortable electric train, Swallow, with departure from Ivanov 4 times a day is in addition started. From Ivanov to Moskovsky railway station of Street Petersburg the night signature fast train Textile Edge plies. Through the station there pass the trains of Ivanovo Street, Petersburg Samara Street, Petersburg Ufa Street, Petersburg Kineshma, Moscow, Swallows of Ivanovo, Moscow, and also the summer trains Kostroma, Ivanovo, Anapa, Kostroma, Adler and Murmansk, Simferopol. Since April 27, 2020. Local trains go from Ivanov to Yaroslavl, Kineshma, Kovrov, Alexandrov and Yuryev-Polsky. Within the city there are also stations. Ivanovo sorting, textile, Porino. Northwest districts of the city are crossed by the longer in Russia the electrified narrow-gauge railroad servicing the Ivanovo silicate plant. The Ivanovo bus station is on the end of the city, opposite to the railway station, on crossing of Leshnovskaya Street and Stankostroitely Street. With its help regular bus traffic to various cities, mainly central part of Russia, is organized. Also there are 2 bus stations. At Vokalnaya Square near the railway station and in the Rio Mall. Air traffic is performed by means of the civil airport and military transport airfield. Yushny is civil. Northern airfield of military transport aircraft and Daro. Yasenik Sports Airfield of Rostov. Housing and communal services. Water supply. Providing the population, the enterprises and organizations of the city with drinking water is performed from two sources. Superficial, the river Uvod. Underground artesian wells of the Sidorovsky field of the region of Ivanovo, places forest and Gorino of the city of Ivanovo. For maintenance of water level and takeaway hydraulic engineering constructions in a complex work. Avodsky Reservoir of 83 Molnem. Quarter with a dam at the village of Hudinino. Volga-Uvod Channel 77 came long with an expense of 596 m/sec. The water pump station on Volga. Dam of the Avodsky Reservoir. 4 dams which are not consisting on balance of Jesk Vodokanal enter the water basin of Ivanovo. Water treatment of drinking water from an open source. Takeaway. It is made on the treatment facilities of ONS-1 of the town of Avdotino, which are started up in operation in 1925. ONS-1 performance project -192,000 m/days, actual -95,000 m/days. Water treatment of drinking water from the closed underground water sources performed on Burinsky ONS-2, performance of ONS-2 shop project -60,000 m/days, actual -36,800 m/days. Structure of ONS-2 shop. 12 artesian wells of a water intake of the Sidorovsky field in Strokin, also sources are wells in the towns of Gorino and Lesner. Water station town of Gorino. The Poviziteldy pump station on residential district Chep-3. Giving of drinking water to consumers is performed through conduits, the main and parting networks. Total length of a water supply system is 1073.7 km. The centralized system of water supply of the city covers all territory of the city district. From a source of ONS-2 water supply to the southern and southeast districts of the city, to other areas, from ONS-1 sources performed. ONS-1 provides water supply of the vast majority of consumers of the city. Supply of hot water is performed from boiler houses, from Chep-2 and Chep-3. Disinfecting of water is performed by 0.7% sodium hypochlorite solution. Considerably the quality of drinking water because of wear of the equipment, anthropogenic and technogenic pollution of subjects to water supply worsens. In recent years, as a result of decrease in dumping of sewage from industrial enterprises, the sanitary condition of the most part of open reservoirs was a little stabilized, though generally continues to remain unsatisfactory. It creates epidemiological trouble in the territory of the city on sharp intestinal infections. The sanitary situation which developed on reservoirs is caused by an imbalance of water consumption and water disposal. Development of sewage networks significantly lags behind development of water supply systems. Lack of local treatment facilities, insufficiently effective work of city treatment facilities. In tests of water, bacterial pollution is fixed. Tests have also unsatisfactory sanitary and virologic indicators. On microbiological indicators, superficial reservoirs within the city are unsuitable for economic and drinking and cultural and community water use. The wear of the equipment of water supply systems is noticeable. The artesian wells of a water intake and stroke in which are started up in operation in 1986 fail. The available system of water purification in Avdetyne is imperfect. Now the general wear of the available buildings and constructions, mechanisms and the equipment and other fixed assets is more than 60%. External water disposal of the city of Ivanovo login. Treatment facilities of the sewerage near the village of Bogdanik. The main pump stations. Neens -1 and Neens -2. On Smirnov Street. The pumping over sewer pump stations. 46 pieces. A single extent of street sewer network makes about 792.5 km. Treatment facilities of the sewerage near Bogdaniki were put into operation in 1978 with sub-quality work and deviations from the project. Their power -320,000 m/days. Treatment facilities of the sewerage are worn out. A number of elements of the technology scheme of cleaning demands replacement or reconstruction. Unsatisfactory operation of the obsolete equipment of the existing treatment facilities leads to acceptance of urgent measures on replacement by new and reconstruction of the existing clearing. Now reconstruction of constructions near Bogdaniki is conducted. Technical condition of engineering networks and constructions of water disposal is characterized by the high level of wear -83%, annually increasing accident rate and low efficiency of capacities. From 100% the wear operates 33.4 km of the main collectors, that makes 95.3% of total number of this type of collectors. Heat supply. As of 2015 in the city there were 3 combined heat and power plants. Since 2015 one combined heat and power plant was taken out of service and closed by operating organization of PIST-T+. The centralized heat supply of the city is performed from the Ivanovo CHEP -2 and the Ivanovo CHEP -3. In the 80th years of the 20th century, on the northwest outskirts of the city, in the area, Lenin Way, construction of CHEP -4 was begun. However, it was not completed. The unfinished, not protected in any way body is surrounded with a half-ruined fence. Telecommunications. Mobile communication in the region is provided by Tele, Mint, Beeline, Megafon and Yota operators, rendering services based on networks of the 4th generation. 4G. Education. The first men's real school appeared in Ivanovo Voznesensk in 1873, the first female progymnasium. Nowadays school no. 30. In 1878. The first higher education institutions. Ivanovo Voznesensky Polytechnical Institute and Ivanovo Voznesensky Teacher Training College were opened in 1918. In Ivanov there are 9 higher education institutions, 7 branches of higher education institutions, 24 averages of special educational institutions, 10 colleges, 3 technical schools and 10 schools. In total 63 educational institutions, apart from schools and gymnasiums. Healthcare. In Ivanov there are 2 federal state institutions, 6 regional public institutions, 18 municipal authorities. One of the most significant problems of healthcare of the city is the deficiency of a medical personnel in medical institutions. Culture. In Ivanovo 3 theaters. Drama, musical, puppet theater. 3 movie theaters and also several museums are located. Local history, the Museum of the Industry and Art, the Museum of the Ivanovo Calico, the Ivanovo Regional Art Museum, the Museum of the First Council, the Museum of the Soviet Automotive Industry. In the city there are also the Ivanovo State Circus of 5A. Volshansky, the Ivanovo State Philharmonic Hall and a zoo. The memorable stele devoted to the International Mirror Film Festival of Andrei Tarkovsky. Cultural and entertaining actions. The International Mirror Film Festival of Andrei Tarkovsky, the film festival which is held since 2007 annually at the end of May. The unique film festival is carried out in several steps. The ceremonial opening is held on the square at a theatrical complex on which, together with red carpet, it is possible to see many domestic movie stars. On the next days at the same time there is a display of movies at all city movie theaters on festival film programs. Further, the jury and the invited movie stars, the famous film directors, sail across Volga to Yurevets in Andrei Tarkovsky's museum. Summing up, a film festival is carried out to Ivanovo. The annual All-Russian Festival of Children's Puppet Theaters, Muravinik, is held based on the theatrical complex of Ivanovo. The Inter-Regional Anti-Fabrica Rock Festival, which purpose of carrying out is the alternative to domination on the Russian platform of low quality, playbacking execution and promoting of rock music among youth. Regional Festival Tender of Rock Music, Rock February. It is carried out annually since 1994. The oldest and the largest of nowadays existing rock festivals in Ivanovo. Has cultural value for region life. The action brings together participants of the Ivanovo Festival projects, Rock Smiles, School Fate, Copper Pipes. The organization of a festival had in many respects educational value, to give to young people the chance to develop creatively, promotion of a healthy lifestyle. It is carried out with assistance of Committee of Youth Policy, Physical Culture and Sport of City Administration of Ivanovo. The International Musical Festival of Arkady Severny, a Black Rose. The Military Patriotic Holiday, Open Sky, an annual military patriotic holiday. It is carried out in August in Airfield, Northern. Includes demonstration of military equipment, demonstration performances of landing troops, concerts of the famous Russian rock groups, various tenders and attractions. City Day, the annual celebration devoted to day of obtaining the status of the city. Date of celebration, floating, in different years at different times. At the end of May, in June, August. Due to the frequent change of mayors, citizens always wait every year for the announcement of date of the city day. Now it is carried out last Saturday of May. Annually, since 1990th years in the city, the action, The Runaway Bride, is carried out in the summer. Annually for more years in the city, the action, Kindness Flower, is carried out. Girls of the city in beautiful dresses and hairstyles take to city streets in the spring and give to passers-by on one rose. Ivanovo in works of art. Andrei Mironov, Well Then We Not Pair. 1981. Boris Grebenshikov, Weaver. 2006. The National Project, Ivanovo Blues. Disco Accident, Malinka. Seryoga, Ivanovo. Dune, the city of Ivanovo. Music A. Barikin versus A. Slavrasov. The Ivanovo Choir of Textile Workers, the song about Ivanovo. S. Okamash A. Kruakovsky. Moscow Ivanovo, the poem by E. A. Yevtushenko. S. Killed the Father, the story by D. A. Fermanov. Tolka, the story by D. A. Fermanov. The poem by G. Serebryakov, I am a son of the Ivanovo weavers. Ivanovo, the center of light industry, began to call the city of brides, as a large number of women worked at its enterprises for production and processing of fabrics. Its certain role promoting of this expression was played by the song by Andriy Mironov, Well Then We Not Pair, sounded in the movie of 1981. Fair, clever and married. In each of 3 of its couplets there are such lines. All I go on about love to you and you. But, when in vain will bother to go on, you can be sure of it. I will go to Ivanovo. And Ivanovo, the city of brides. This song. Music E. Krylatov, words M. Plyaskovsky. Opens A. Mironov's minion which left at the end of 1982, Well Then We Not Pair. The subject of The City of Brides in a different form is beaten in the eponymous movies of 1985 and 2008. In the movie City of Brides of 1985 of the director 50. Naryagan action happens around automation of textile plant and the relations with his employees. In the full-length television movie of 2008 The City of Brides. The working name, once in Babin Babena, the director Mikhail Krupin. 3 male heroes get to the country town inhabited only by women. One of heroes of series Team B, the doctor in the specialty, says, Brosha this astronautics. I will go in Ivanovo to work as the mammologist. In a sketch coma, Russia. The 2nd season. Was the subject line the Ivanovo sushi bar, White Willow, which waitress, Anastasia Kuznetsova. Mikhail Golustin. Showed an affection to male clients. The nickname, City of Brides, where it is more women than men was beaten. Massachusetts media. Main item. Massachusetts media of Ivanovo. In Ivanovo there is a large number of printing editions, the most known, Working Edge, Private Trader, the Ivanovo newspaper, Ivanovo Press. Broadcasting from Ivanovo is performed by 21 radio stations. The Ivanovo Regional Radio Television Transmitting Center. Branch Charters, Ivanovo Orts. Supplies with a digital radio and analog radio TV and radio signal the territory of the Ivanovo region. At a grid of telecasting of the city there are all federal channels. Local TV companies work. If took Ivanovo TV of Media, Bars Shopping Mall, X Shopping Mall, If TV Company. Ivanovo Voznesensky Television. The city of Ivanovo is provided in the Championship of Russia in soccer by the soccer team, Textile Worker. The club was founded in 1937. In 1940 and in 1986 was a winner of the Cup of Rusfers on Soccer, repeatedly became the silver and bronze prize winner of the Championships of Rusfers on Soccer. In 1992, 1993 and 2007 acted in the First League. Since 2008 acts in the Second League. Now the team acts in Fenial. In the Basketball Championship of Russia among clubs of Premier League of Ivanovo, the women's basketball team, Energy, represents. In the city, the rugby club, White Sharks, acting in Federal League, is based. Home stadium, Truck Crane of the Ivanovo Autocrane plant. In 2008 the Ice Sport and Recreation Complex Olympia, which is the largest in the CDFTA and one of the biggest constructions of this kind in Europe, opened. Stadiums, Textilshik, Lokomotiv, Spartak, Piervestnik work in the city. Once of Ivanovo with a number of the Russian cities hosted the World Ice Hockey Championship with a ball. Now in the city the Sports Palace is under construction. The Prince Alexander Prokorovich Shirinsky Shikmatov was the first personal honorable citizen of Ivanovo-Voznesensk that is recorded in the Ivanovo-Voznesenskaya magazine of City Council. After the October Revolution till 1971 the rank was not awarded, however the decision of the Ivanovo Executive Committee of the City Soviet of People's Deputies of Council of Deputies of Workers No. 169 of July 5, 1971 in a year of the 100th anniversary of the city founded a rank of the Honorable Citizen of Ivanovo. From 1971 for 2002 this rank 40 people were awarded. But for restoration of historical justice it was decided to revive names of people. It is a lot of made for the city from the moment of its education and deserved a rank of the personal, honorable citizen of the city of Ivanovo-Voznesensk. Mikhail Frunze in 1918 the chairman of Ivanovo-Voznesensky Igubkoma of Rock. B. Agubspolkom, Agubs of Narcos and the military commissioner of Ivanovo-Voznesenskaya of the province. Andrei Tarkovsky is the glorified Soviet film director and the screenwriter. People's Artist of Rusfers. Alexander Vasilevsky is the Marshal of the Soviet Union, the Chief of the General Staff, the Minister of Armed Forces of the USSR. Several cities have the status of the sworn brother of the city of Ivanovo. In Soviet period Ivanovo with the Polish city of Lodz had the most close ties. In Ivanov there is a Lodz movie theater, and in the center of Lodz prior to the beginning of the 1990th years there was an Ivanovo movie theater. Also far. Write comments. Read comments. Interesting people will tell interesting stories. All of good mood and good luck.